in Midland. He works at a minimum 45 hours a week, usually more like 50. He just got off a mandatory 12 days straight. He also, his wife is a nurse, and so when he is not working, he takes care of their 3 and 5-year-old, and she works. He would just be asking that community service be reduced. We're looking hopefully for something more in the 40-hour range. I did also indicate to my client that if he completes all the terms of probation with no other contact with the legal system, after a 6-month period of time, he would be able to contact his probation agent and see about bringing this into the, before Your Honor earlier, to have this probation then be dismissed. We're hoping that he would agree to that. Other than that, we have no other changes or recommendations.
The court made a note to consider 771. They're recommending 771, the delayed sentence. If he gets 771, he's not entitled. But again, it's not an unfair request if I don't give him the delayed sentence, because Rivera has had significant contact with the criminal justice system in the last 5 years. And I would simply note that he's done a 9-month, 6-month. He's done a 9-month probation for domestic. He did 6-month probation for retail fraud some time ago, and then for whatever reason that I can't possibly comprehend, that with this prior record, there's a district court in our state that felt it was appropriate just to give him a fines and cost sentence on a drunk driving within the past year. So it begs the question, maybe Mr. Rivera needs a greater length of time of supervision, because the short time of supervision has clearly not worked whatsoever. And here we are again with a negative interaction with the criminal justice system related to alcohol use. So I think it was a very good opportunity that your attorney here worked out for you, because based on the incident, based on your history, I can't think of a circumstance where, one, an individual will get the obstructing dismissed, Mr. Dean did that for you, and get a chance to get the disorderly also dismissed after a period of time of supervised supervision from this court. Mr. Dean worked that out for you, Mr. Rivera. I am unsure whether or not I have a candidate before me that is sort of worthy of the efforts that have been put forth by your attorney. We're on a very dangerous path here. We've got to figure out what's going on. I can't believe when you hear that list of charges that you engaged in, that who would hear that and say, yeah, that's me? I think my first instinct would be to say, well, I'm more than that. So it's time to show it. Mr. Dean, anything else on his behalf?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Maybe you can let me know, sir, what do you think I need to know about you that maybe would paint a different picture than what your record, or especially over the last 3 years, would suggest?
Good morning, or good afternoon. Yeah, I think that I am a good person. I think that my record over the past few years has, been, I would say unlucky, but I definitely take every action that I have, take responsibility for all the actions. I've made mistakes. I think everybody makes mistakes, and I think that the probation speaks for itself. I mean, I go through probation, no issue. It's kind of how I look at it. I mean, I'm honest when I tell you I really don't have, brushes with the law. I know I've had the OWI and domestic violence, but those to me were just, me and my wife worked that out. It wasn't something that we wanted to happen. In the OWI, I obviously did not want that to happen also. It's just, think that day I blew a .08, and I was really, I thought I was doing it right. I thought that if I drank 1 beer a day or an hour over the course of 6 hours, I wouldn't be drunk, and I thought I was okay, and I made a mistake.
What we have going on here, there's some interaction court system on May 7th with MSP. May 7th of this year. Are you aware of it? Was there any interaction with law enforcement in May?
Not that I know of, Your Honor. I had speeding tickets, and that's probably just tickets.
But based on what I see on his record, I don't know that he's a good candidate for 771. I guess I want to hear from you on this, Mr. Dean. One last time to sort of convince the court otherwise, but this ends up being basically his 4th offense in 3 years.
Understood, Your Honor. As indicated, my client's 31 years old, gainfully employed, honorably discharged from the Marines. As he's shared with me and shared with this court, he's had some experiences these past 3 years. And I think being in this courthouse, understanding how things are addressed outside of the tri-state area, he is going to have to work for this opportunity. We'll ask that you allow him to do that, and with the possibility of 771. Thank you.
Sentence court. Then we will delay this matter for 12 months. Frankly, I had already struck that and was going to place him on 2-year probation. But Mr. Dean, I appreciate your continued arguments on his behalf. I think it certainly would go a long way if you could get this done. It will be a 12-month supervision. So start to wrap your brain around that. There's not going to be a 6-month probation or a 9-month probation or a fines and costs probation. You're going to work here, right? And now we'll set it up so that all of the activities, counseling, things like that can all happen in Saginaw. I don't need you to drive down here and take care of it, all right? But a person could look at your record and see spiraling going on. And you've got to start identifying that what's happening here, these aren't sort of random mistakes that can happen to anyone, all right? Because mistakes are beyond our control. I mean, we could do our best to limit mistakes, but they still will happen regardless of even our best efforts. But our choices are our own, all right? Each one of the interactions that you've had with the court system were as a result of a series of choices that you made, including what brings you here today. And the sooner that we can come to terms with that, the sooner that we realize, one, it does mean that accountability sets in, which is always hard for anybody, okay? But there is also a freeing aspect to it, meaning if you change your choices, then you're not in the court system because you are 100% in control of your choices. So now you've seen, I make these choices, this happens, especially your choices related to alcohol. What role does alcohol really need to play in your life? I can't think of anything it's done other than take money out of your pocket, put you in handcuffs, and put you in front of judges. So we're going to separate you from alcohol for a while, and let's see what life looks like. We're going to make sure you get the support that you need as a veteran. You serve, it's time for the system to serve you back and make sure that you get the counseling and support that you need to process some of the different frustrations, stressors that you have that happen in life. So while the delayed sentence, it's a $250 fine plus $550 in court costs because there are no probation fees. He's not technically on probation. There's $125 state cost. There's no screening fee, no arrest cost, no probation cost. I will authorize a long-term payment plan. You don't have to come up with that money right now. You should continue with outpatient counseling, enroll and complete the alcohol insight and awareness course. Obviously, you're to avoid all hotels, bars, clubs in Royal Oak or Berkeley. Actually, you're to avoid all bars, clubs, anywhere. The community service. I recognize with the counseling and the course that I've expected of him that the community service can be walked back. So I'll take it down to 70. I'll take it down to 40. All right. He's to abstain from use of any alcohol, marijuana, or illegal controlled substances and submit to random screens. No bars, clubs, liquor stores. Like I said, any violation could result in up to 90 days. Any violation could result in this being taken out of the delayed sentence and yet another charge going on the record. I'll set this for a review in 4 months. Now, the nice thing is that you'll be able to set up your reviews with your probation agent. Should be able to do that on Zoom. All of your counseling, we'll keep that up in the Saginaw Midland Basic, okay? And then if you're in compliance, any reviews you have with me, we'll do those on Zoom as well. So your ability to avoid having to drive down here again will be dependent on the job that you do while on probation. Now, like I said, any violation, we could be talking jail, we could be talking about going on an even longer probation. Let's try to avoid that. 12 is about as short as I go on probation. So if you want that and not any longer, then stick to following the rules. Now, this May 7th incident, I'm concerned about. All right, I don't know what's happening. It may come to nothing at all. As of this point, it's June 23rd. It just simply says warrant requested by the Michigan State Police. It doesn't even give a specific charge. It doesn't have that a case was actually issued. But if something went down May 7th and you stood at that podium and you didn't tell me anything about it, then we'll have a disagreement. Okay?
I'm very curious myself.
But at this point in time, just so I don't see any active charges and I don't see anything that shows that there's a warrant out for you. But you just should be aware on May 7th, the Tri-City Post did some type of investigation. You might want to look into that. Okay, maybe you reach out to them. Okay. All right, so I'll see you back here in 4 months. Just have them check in downstairs.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.